Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Jesse Krieger, author of Lifestyle Entrepreneur. Jesse, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Paul. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, Jesse, we are thrilled to have you. Are you ready to begin?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. Question number one. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
I would say to zoom out and spend a little bit of time looking at where this book fits in to how you want your life and business to look over the coming 18 to 24 months. Meaning to not look at the book just as how many more pages you need to write to finish the manuscript, but also how the marketing, the positioning of this book, and when you release it, how that will play into the kind of clients that you enroll and the kind of offers and products and services and experiences that you want to focus on over the coming year and a half or two, which is effectively the lifespan for the initial lifespan for the book, the promotional window.
And what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
About getting published, self-publishing has never been easier. So it's not difficult to bring a book to market, but to find a publisher that both fits with you and your goals for your book and understands the genre and the topics that you're writing about. And in the best case, has experience working with other comparable authors and similar topical books. I mean, if you can find a publisher that believes in you and gets behind your book and really you overall as the author of that work, then that's the best case scenario. I think when looking at publishing, you've got the traditional route where you can pitch a literary agent, write a book proposal, try and get a publisher to give you an advance. But then the alternative is a hybrid publisher like us at Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press, where we have distribution and retail placement capability, but also a real hands-on relationship by only working with a few dozen authors per year. So I think the hardest part is getting really clear on what you want and what kind of publishing relationship and support you want and need, and then getting into those conversations as they relate to your book.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launches that has worked well.
Sure. So I would say one of the best things you can do as an author is to set up a welcome email sequence, meaning pre-writing anywhere from 4 to 7 plus emails that people receive dripped out over every 1 to 2 days once they find out about you or are interested in your book or request and receive a resource that you're making available, such as a PDF or a video or a checklist or a blueprint. If that front door that you open up to invite people in leads down a hallway of communication where you share a little bit about yourself and your motivations for writing a book and getting into business, and then share a practical tip or an actionable strategy that they can use, and then maybe highlight the success story of somebody that you've worked with, and then encourage them to take some kind of action to bring about some kind of an accomplishment in their life, that can work for you on your behalf. And then you can simply direct anybody that you meet in casual conversation or on media or in an interview like this to go through that front door, to go to that landing page, knowing that you're going to educate and inform them in the best way. So that's what I'd say is probably a top marketing tip for authors that is not taken advantage of nearly as much as I think it could be.
Well, I think the main thing that you're talking about too is connection. So essentially with connecting with these new readers and onboarding these new readers to your email list, you're talking about 4 to 7 onboarding emails over like a 1 week to 2 week span, correct?
Yep, that's it. And people will start to sort themselves out. I mean, if people unsubscribe after the second email, fine. Just they weren't meant to be in your audience. But if someone goes through a sequence that you've put thought into and relates and interacts or gives you feedback, that's how you're actually building your audience around the topics that you're writing on. And that could be fiction as well, but for nonfiction especially, where you as the author are the face behind the book. And I think it's really important to own that in the book marketing process.
So with that sequence, let's say around 7 emails over a 2 week span. So are you also tying in different offers and things like that? Or are you mainly just talking about sharing your journey, how you help, and kind of telling them about your journey, what you've done?
I'll give you an example. I mean, like I have a training course called 10K Before Launch, and it's 4 modules. Each module has like 3 to 4 training videos that are 6 to 10 minutes in length. Now that could easily, this could, if you have a course, this could apply, or this could be chapters of your book that you create a video or some other content and drip out. But basically on the front end, I give away the first module, so the first 4 videos, but I package it as something that they're going to learn. So I call it learn how to make $10,000 or more before launching your book and waiting for sales royalties to come in. And it's a whole training on pre-launching, but it's 3 main content emails. And then the fourth one, I ask, each one has a video that accompanies it. And the fourth one, I ask them to set a date when they're going to run their pre-launch campaign. So that's a commitment. And then if they do set that date and share it publicly and with me, then they've accomplished that little learning module. But more importantly, then I say, okay, now that you've set the day for your pre-launch, do you want access to all of the course and the bonus resources to support you? So then you offer the course, but then we also can offer them, one-on-one training consultation or even discuss publishing. So it's basically informing them of our approach, sharing actionable content, and then on the tail end of that, highlighting the different ways we could work together. And it's all said and done in less than 10 days. So it's a piece of marketing infrastructure. And that's what I'm recommending people put into place is spend your time and energy creating something that can do the work for you.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of books, I'd like to know what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
Well, my favorite book will probably always be Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. And Atlas Shrugged is an epic book in the sense that it's 1,200 pages, but it's basically described as a philosophical revolution and told in an action thriller. It's an amazing story of entrepreneurship and horrible policy and just an amazing tale that glorifies entrepreneurs and productive people the world over as the source of all progress. And it's also the pinnacle book of Ayn Rand's career. She spent 12 years writing it. So if you want a treat and you want to really have your socks blown off by some amazing writing, check out Atlas Shrugged.
Nice. Well, Jesse, for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
I will go with whether you believe you can or believe you cannot, you're correct, which is a paraphrase from, I believe, Henry Ford, but basically speaks to if you believe you can do it, you can do it. If you don't believe you can, you're also right and you won't do it. And you get to make that choice.
Absolutely. It reminds me of Clement Stone's quote where he talks about what the mind of man can conceive and believe it will achieve. I mean, it's all about mindset at the end of the day.
Excellent. Yes.
Well, Jesse, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
Sure. You're welcome to check out lifestyleentrepreneurspress.com or just do a search for me, Jesse Krieger, or Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press, and we have a lot of resources out there. So look forward to connecting with everybody, and thanks for having me on.
Jesse, thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead. Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how you can be featured in our brand new Get Published business book, go to getpublishedpodcast.com.